Good evening. My name is Edwin Van Hooger, and I will be your host for tonight's Famous Leaders Debate. On one side, we'll have the notorious Karl Marx, and on the other, we have the well-liked Adam Smith. Gentlemen, let's begin. Question 1. What is a perfect society in your viewpoint?
Well, if I were to have my very own perfect society, I would have it so there would be one single equal class. No distinctions, discriminations, or any other sort of social ranking whatsoever. The wealth and property belongs to everybody. Everybody does the same amount of work and gets the same reward. Also, children won't work in factories, and each child should be entitled to a free education.
Very well. Sounds like you have quite the plan for a perfect society. But keep in mind, nothing is ever perfect. There is always going to be something that goes wrong. With that in mind, Adam?
Very well. Thank you, Edwin. If I were to have a perfect society, for starters, the market would be a free market. No price shall be set by the government. All prices would be determined by common consent between the vendors and the consumers, supply and demand. Also, if one person works harder than another, they should be entitled to a higher reward. That way, that will eliminate more conflicts between the hard workers and the non-workers.
Good. It seems to me that both of you have your own separate opinions on how you would like a society to operate. Clearly, you two would not be able to rule together. Alright, next question. Question 2. What actions would be taken to achieve your perfect society?
If it would all happen perfectly, the proletariat would eventually get tired of being oppressed and end up revolting. They, being the lower class, never had a say in their wages, hours, or working conditions, so one way or another, something would change. Also, once the proletariat overthrew the bourgeoisie, they would then work toward a gradual population distribution across the country, making an effort to get rid of the distinction between town and country.
Okay, so in the end, regardless, you say there would have been a revolution in order to sort things out?
Correct. There would have to be some type of revolution.
I see, very well. Adam, your thoughts?
I disagree completely with Mr. Marx, because I, for one, oppose the idea of a revolution in order to restore justice, because in my opinion, I value order and stability over relief from oppression. I think that a worker's own individual wage should depend on the amount of effort that they put in their job. Even if one person holds a lot of money, they would purchase some other form of goods and services, which would lead to some other profits for some other economic agent, either producer or consumer, which would further boost economic activity. This would be known as a trickle effect, as eventually the wealth would circulate around somewhat evenly. The original worker would spend money, which would be earned by some other worker, and that worker would be able to spend that money that he earned, which would be earned by someone else, and the cycle would continue. Basically, this would help out the economy multiple times, more in the long run than what may seem to do in the beginning.
Well done to the both of you. Even though I am not allowed to express my opinion, I would gladly accept both of your terms. Now on to our last question. Question 3. What do you think are the weak points of the other society? Let's start with Adam this time.
Well, in Mr. Marx's society, there is one major problem. The unequal distribution of wealth would most certainly cause multiple problems between workers. For starters, the lazy workers will realize that they don't get penalized for their laziness and will continue to slack off. Secondly, for the workers that are putting in a lot of effort, they will get mad that they are earning the same as someone who does no work, and that right there will cause most problems. By setting up an equal society, you're really setting up an unequal one.
Ouch, shots fired. Mr. Marx, Smith doesn't seem to like your ideas very much. Do you have something you don't like about his?
As a matter of fact, I do. If one person can hold on to much more wealth than another, then who's to say that that one person won't just hold on to that money for themselves? Maybe they will make far less purchases than you predict, resulting in the same problem that you claim my society to have. Also, if the government is not setting the prices for goods and services, then one company, who is very wealthy, would be able to run all other companies out of business. It could simply lower the prices, which would then entice other companies to lower theirs, eventually running them out of business. That standing company could then raise the prices up so high that barely anyone could afford anything, which would result in a monopoly.
And I think that's all the time we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, both Marx and Smith have very different viewpoints on a perfect society. Send us a letter to tell us about your thoughts. Have a good evening, and make sure to show up next time.